I told you it was loud. And we are live.
Oh,
I'm
it's
here
doing it
with
again.
Lexi Rook. Oh no, you can't hear me, Lexi.
Hang on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, is
Can you
this...
not hear me? Should we
No,
try it without the earphones?
Hang on, what about now?
I mean, I can hear you properly.
It's like you're speaking into a fan.
That's not good.
Oh my God, I can't hear a thing. Hang on. No, it's still doing it.
What about trying without the headphones completely?
I literally can't. I can't hear what you're saying. Oh wait, hang on. There we go.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're fine now. Why does my phone do that?
Okay, I reckon if it happens again, just try without the headphones, or you can try leaving and coming back in. But and I'll try and ad lib by myself. Not that anyone's tuned in to watch me, but
that's fine. I'll just keep my phone still and hope it doesn't do it.
Well, Lexi, thank you so much for joining me. I had to have you on to talk about your big win at Celtic Gladiator. I absolutely loved the show, and your fight was one of the highlights for me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a mad, very weird experience, if I'm honest, but it was good. It was nice to get back in there.
Yeah, and after being scheduled to fight so many times this year, and then them falling through, and then the date for Celtic Gladiator getting moved, did you think that you were really going to get to fight?
No, I literally didn't think it was going to happen at all. And I think until I actually got in the cage, I didn't even think it didn't feel like I was fighting. It was just, I had like kind of ruled it out completely because I literally went from like being booked one opponent on one show, then that completely getting cancelled, to another show, to another opponent. Then I got another opponent change, and then that show got cancelled. So after that one, I was like, oh, you know what? It's clearly not going to happen. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh, I wish I'd been matched on Celtic now, because that looks like it's going ahead. And then I literally got like a message like a week before the fight, and I was like, oh yeah, go on then. I might as well. I'm ready. So
I can't imagine what it's like for fighters. I always think this anyway, like you guys never know if you're really going to fight until you get in the cage. There's so much that can happen between the fight being announced or agreed to even, and you getting in there. But like at the moment, what with the fact that some shows are testing and some people are testing positive, or just the fact that, you know, all this tier system and nobody knows if they're going to be able to put on a show or have people there. I'm so grateful to Cole Prince for putting on Celtic Gladiator, because there's nothing that I enjoy more in this world than watching MMA. Yeah. And I love UK MMA, and I can't think of a better Sunday for me than watching that. I was sitting there with a grin on my face, a glass of wine in my hand. It was amazing.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. No, it was nice. It was good.
So let's talk about your fight, because she's got a bit less experience than you, but I've seen her before and she's a good girl, isn't she?
Yeah, do you know what? Like on paper, obviously, I mean, that was my 10th fight, and I think that was her third. And I only found out after the fight she was 17 as well.
Wow.
I know. So I'm like, I think, yeah, I'm 9 years older than her. But so on paper, it was like a lot of people were saying, oh, you shouldn't be fighting her and all that. But I thought, you know what? Like, I think Brian Lacey, or one of the commentators said it in the fight, was for the females, the pool is very small.
Yeah.
Especially in the UK, you know, unless you're getting opponents flown in from other countries, or you're going to like the IMAFs or whatever, you're very limited to who you know. And a lot of, I've been quite lucky, whereas a lot of females have actually ended up rematching the same girls like twice or three times over, because there's not that many girls to fight. So, you know, I don't put myself on a pedestal and think, you know, oh no, I'm too good to fight someone who's only on their third fight. To me, it's still experience, and that's what amateur is all about. It's all about getting that experience and that cage time. And to be honest, she was better than I was when I was on my third fight. So but yeah, no, she was a good strong opponent, and I just loved it. I loved every second of it, and I know she did as well. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, she is a good girl, and I expect big things from her in the future. But you did dominate the fight, and you looked really, really strong all over. But you said to me when you said you were back in the gym on Tuesday, and I was like, "Bye, you nutter," and you said, "There's too many things I want to work on from the fight." So what is it that you want to work on?
Well, that was like the first time in, like I said, 10 fights that I've ever actually used my striking, and I feel like I've worked a lot on my striking, a lot during the last like 3 months, and so I wanted to go out there and I wanted to show that off, and I wanted to also put everything I've been working on like into play, into real life play, and see how I got on with it, which is what I did, and I did enjoy it. But when I watched it back, I was like, oh, why was I doing that, or why was I doing that? And there was all these little things, and I would have liked to have explored my grappling a little bit more as well. I feel like now I've watched it back, there was quite a few opportunities where I could have sort of like pummeled for a position, or shot in on a takedown. So it's like, but I was so sort of like focused on my striking that I didn't get around to doing a lot of things. And I think there's a lot of my skill set I haven't been able to show yet or display, because I think with this fight, I went in there thinking, right, I want to stand up and I want to strike with her, because a lot of my old fights have been just me grappling, especially like on the cage wall and stuff. And I just wanted to display the progressions I'd made. And then when I watched it back, I was happy with my performance, but not enough. I was I've pinpointed everything that I wasn't happy with, and I just wanted to get straight back to work, to be honest. Like I said earlier, like we're in a lockdown, so it's like there's not really a lot else to do. Like, my work, where I was working, obviously I was in a restaurant, so that's been shut, so I haven't been able to work. So I've literally just been throwing myself into MMA, and like it's been amazing, and I've enjoyed it, but I just feel like it's now more of a lifestyle for me rather than like split up into camps. It's just a lifestyle. So when Tuesday came, I was like, you know what, I had Monday off, I had a nice rest, I had a nice refeed, and like when Tuesday came, I was ready to go again. I thought, well, I don't need to sit here and think, oh no, I should have another week off, or I should have another day off. Like, if I feel fine, then you might as well just get back on it.
Yeah, and I do think it's a champion's mentality to, even in a good performance, find the things, find the imperfections that you want to round off.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not at the end of my amateur career quite yet, but it's sort of getting that way slowly. So I just, before I turn professional, there's a lot of things I want to tighten up and have ready under my belt for when I do get into the pro ranks. So that's why at the minute I'm just, whatever fights come up, I want to take, because I just want to get the chance to get in there and trial and test it all, and do you know what I mean, get comfortable in situations that I don't want to be in, but see how I get on, because I feel like you don't want to get to me personally, I don't want to get to the pro ranks and then be like, oh shit, I've not been in this situation before. I know it will happen at some point, but I just think it's best to just, for some reason there's this rush, especially with females. There's like this need to be like, oh, you should you're 26, you've had 10 fights, you should be pro now. And I'm like, nah, because in the grand scheme of things, I've been doing it 3 years, nearly 4 years. Like, it's not a long time. When I say I've been doing it 4 years, like I started with K1, like I'd never really been in a gym before that. I didn't even know, like 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't even know what the UFC was. So in my head, I'm thinking, nah, I might look like I'm sort of steps away from it, but in my head, the steps are a lot bigger, a lot further away for me. So
I really like that, though. I really like when people take their time with their amateur career and really test themselves in their amateur fights, so that when they turn pro, like you said, you're kind of ready for anything. And I do think it's harder for girls because it's harder to get fights. then it's almost like, oh my God, I've sat around for a year. I may as well just take a pro fight. And I think that does happen kind of, that it's just harder to pack those fights in. You'd like to be fighting more times, because if your opponent falls through, there's less people who can fill in for them. Way less likely to get a last minute replacement for a female fight than for a male fight.
Yeah, definitely.
I did see someone ask you that on your Instagram stories about, are you turning pro? It's a question I've seen you be asked before as well. You must be sick of it. So personally, I'm glad that you just want to, you're never going to feel like you're the perfect fighter and ready to turn. But like, if you've got things that you still want to work on, I say take your time.
Yeah, definitely. And also for me, like I had a bit of a change up, obviously. I moved area and I moved gyms. So I had that fight in March, which was my first fight with Aspire. But even that, it wasn't a full camp. I was living in Manchester and commuting to Liverpool. So I was only really getting into train 3 times a week at Aspire. So this fight was different. This fight was, I'd been there full time with the right coaches, the right sessions, getting every round in. Like it was a proper full-time camp with that team and with the coaches. So I almost feel like that was my first proper fight. Like, I know it sounds crazy because I had 9 before that, but it was the first time I felt like everything was in place, like professionally structured. It was just brilliant. Everything about it was brilliant, even the weight cut. And even though technically it was a short notice fight, it was just everything leading up to my other fights had obviously stood me in good stead for it. So I feel like I've got a lot more I want to do with this team and my team of coaches as well. I feel like we can, like, after that fight, I just got out and I was like, oh, I just want to get back in. I feel like I can redo it way better than that. And that's why I went back to the gym straight away, because I was like, I'm not happy with it, to be honest. I can't just settle and go, oh yeah, I won, I'm buzzing. Like, obviously you are buzzing when you win, but I was more, as soon as I got in the car, I was watching it on my phone. Like, I needed to see it. And then I was like, straight away, I was like, oh, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with that. And I know it's like, obviously I am happy with a lot of things. I did do a lot of things that I am happy with, but there's just so much. It's one of them sports. I think this is the only reason that it's kept me interested as well, because it's so, like, there's so much to learn and it's evolving all the time. You're never going to get to the end of it and be like, right, I've done it, completed it, ticked off. Like, it's just constantly like you're like, oh, this leads to that, this leads to that. It just fascinates me, to be honest. It's just yeah.
You look like you're absolutely loving it at Aspire.
I am, yeah. I found my little home. I do love it there. Yeah, it is wicked.
I'm happy for you, very happy for you. And this was, I believe it was your first fight with your new fight name, Lady Cosma. Do you mind telling people where that name came from?
No, that's fine. So I think Brian mentioned it as well in the commentary. So Cosma is basically, it means nightmare in Polish. And Jay, my good mate Jay, obviously passed away this year. So it was his name, the nightmare, Cosma. So I just thought, you know what, when he passed away, I was like, I didn't want to do anything too sort of like cliche or cringe or whatever, but I don't know, it just felt right to me. And like, it does represent a lot of what I stand for and stuff. So I thought, you know what, like, I'm just going to use it. And it's weird, I thought I'd be a lot more emotional on Sunday, actually, fighting with, like, wearing his t-shirt and that, but it genuinely does just give me that extra push. Like, when I was walking out, I was thinking about him and I was thinking, yeah, like, if he was here, he'd be gassing me up and, it'd be like, he was so supportive of me. So I just want to make sure, like, his name and his spirit is kept going. And I know loads of people are, they're still bigging him up and they're still carrying his spirit forward in his name and that. And I don't think it'll ever fade, but I just think it's important for us all to do that. And like, for me, like, it was like losing a brother, to be honest. I was so close to him. So like, every fight, it'll be on my t-shirt now. He'll be a part of every single fight that I have. So I'm not, I don't want to use it as a sub story. I don't want to use it as give me sympathy, because I don't need that. Like, I just want to make sure his name carries on. and gets
I
out
think
there.
it's a beautiful tribute and a lovely name. I think it suits you, and I think it's a really nice tribute as well.
Yeah.
Not that you're a nightmare. I don't mean that.
Oh, I am.
In the
I'm a bit
cage,
of a
in the
nightmare.
cage, I mean.
I don't know. Some people might argue that.
Let me go to some of the questions. We've got a hater in the house, by the way.
Oh yeah, who?
A troll on here. Don't know, Kite the cat saying, this is boring. Why are English people so boring? This is more dry than the toast I had for breakfast.
Oh,
Kite the
cheeky.
cat, why don't you fuck off and go and watch something else?
I was going to swear and I thought, I don't know if I can.
Go on, Lexi, you tell him to.
Oh. Bore off then. Exactly. Why are you tuning in? If you think I'm boring, fuck off. Who cares?
He's probably talking about me. Don't
tell him to send me an inbox. I've got plenty other haters he can join. Trust me.
Do you really get people send stuff to you then?
Yeah,
I can't believe that.
All the time. Like I get like more positive than negative, but I get at least once a day at least. Someone in my DMs. No, honestly. I just get it all the time. I don't even know. And I just think, do you really think I care about what you like? I'm going to put my content out on social media, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, there's a little unfollow button up there. You can just press that.
That's the bit I don't get.
It's not like I'm forcing you to follow me and to watch my content. It's up to you. Do you know what I mean? But
it just wouldn't occur to me to do that. Like you say, if you started following someone and then they're just posting too much of something that doesn't interest you, I just surely you're the Muppet and still just going, I'm going to carry on watching this and being annoyed by it.
Oh, honestly, it's funny.
Anyway, Kite the cat, we don't care. Pedro Knox says, were any of you two offended when the UFC used the term chick fight for one of their women's fights recently? I guess the commentators.
No, like, to be honest, it is a chick fight, isn't it? It's a girl fight. I think people take things too seriously, or like, yeah, I wouldn't have been offended by that, to be honest. It is what it is.
Is there anything, do you find any sexism in the sport? Have you come across any so far that's kind of held you back or anything?
Not really. I haven't had any experiences with it. I mean, obviously it's still quite a male dominated sport, but I feel like, you know, most UFC cards or fight night cards you see every weekend have got at least one female fight on, and there has been a few where there's been a few female headliners.
Yeah.
You know, like especially with Bellator and stuff. So I think it's still growing for women. Like, we're so lucky now. Like, if it was like 10 years ago, then no. But I don't really feel like I personally haven't had any experiences with that. At our gym, it's like you get on the mat and you're the same. I mean, they call me lad more times than they call me my name, probably. You just get used to it. You're just like, yeah, you're one of the lads when you're on the mat. You just, if this is a sport you want to do, you need a backbone and you need to just accept it.
Yeah.
All right, that's how it is.
Stoneboy said, what advice would you give anyone looking to get into MMA to take it up as a career? Not him. He's a jiu-jitsu guy and he doesn't like being punched in the face.
Fair enough, yeah. What advice would you give anyone looking to getting into it? I'd just say go for it straight away. Like, there's loads of, like, I know loads of people that are sort of like, oh yeah, I'm just going to lose a bit of weight first, or I'm just going to get my fitness up first. Like, that'll all come when you start training. Like, it's the best form of fitness and it's the best form of weight loss if you're training hard. I think the best thing to do is find yourself a good gym and a good team, because it's not every day you're going to wake up and be like, oh yeah, I can't wait, I'm going to go to the gym. Like, no one's like that. Like, everyone has their days where they wake up and think, oh, I don't want to go, or it's cold, or it's raining, or whatever. So, but if you've got that team there, like for me, I know, like on my fight week, on like the Friday, I didn't go in to train. I just went in to see the team, because they boost you up, and there's just the energy and the good banter and everything. Like, it all comes with it. It's all part of it. So if you can find yourself a team that you fit into, and then just go from there, like, and you'll find your feet. You'll find what discipline you prefer or what you don't like, and you just go for it. Really, there's no, until you walk in and get on the mats and actually just give it a good go, then you'll never know if you're going to like it or not.
I think that's the hardest thing of all, just walking through the gym door for the very first time. It's very daunting to people who might want to try it, but just don't really know what to expect, or you are going to be the most rubbish person, like, because you're the one who's just turned up and never done it before, and you've just got to get over that in your head and go and give it a go, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree with that, definitely.
And there's people there for all different reasons, you know. There'll be people there who only go there once a week and are just doing it for fitness, and right through, probably, depending where you go, but probably right through to very good pro level.
Yeah, there's always a mix, like, and there's always timetables, there's always classes. Like, we have like an intro course, a beginners class, so it's different to like you're not going to walk in and have to start grappling with like the professionals. You grapple with people your ability and your weight or whatever, so so that it's relevant and it's personal to you. Then you can actually develop and grow, and then when you progress you start moving up, and that's why I think the systems in place are good, because you don't, if you just go in and get smoked straight away, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be like, I don't really want to go and do that again. I mean, that's what happened to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, when I went to Aspire, like, the boys will back me up on this one, the first session at Aspire that I had, bear in mind I'd already had 8 fights, right? And I thought I was sort of all right, I was an average fighter. Went to Aspire, my first session, I got absolutely smoked. I think Ellie tapped me 8 times in one roll. I was so embarrassed, but I was like, oh my God. And then I went home and I thought, nah, do you know what? This is what I need. Like, if I'm getting smoked like this, then I want to train with these people, because they're just going to make me better. And I am noticing it now. I am getting better, and I still get smoked by a few of them, but like it was bad. but that made me more motivated. That made me think, why do I want to go back to where I was one of the better ones, but for not for the right reasons? Do you know what I mean? So it's like I would, I spent loads of time getting smoked by them all, but you do get better and you start noticing you're getting better, and then you're actually progressing for the right reasons then. Yeah,
totally. And I just think iron sharpens iron, and so you've got to be around those people, and it keeps the ego out of things as well.
Yeah, definitely. You can't have an ego when you're on the mat. I don't care what anyone says. That's got to go. You've got to leave that at the door.
Yeah. Peter says, R.I.P. Jay, gone but never forgotten.
Oh, I know.
And then also, go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, it's still so weird.
It is. It's so sad. There's so many of you, though, that, like, have lovely tributes for him, that he's 100% very special person that's left a mark. There's never a day that I go through my social media where somebody's not posting. It is lovely. And Peter says he sends me stuff like to my DMs, but, but I love it. I don't love it, Peter. I told you to stop doing that. Lexi, answer me this. Miss Jessica Rose Clark, she reckons that like loads of guys send her dick pics and stuff. Is that something you come across? Because I then asked Olga Rubin, who fights for Bellator, and she's like, yeah, that's a thing.
First of all, I love Jessica Rose Clark. She's one of my favourite fighters.
She looks amazing right now, doesn't she? Like, she looks so healthy and happy. I love her at bantamweight.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. Like, she's just like, she's one of my recent like role models. Like, I've like read into her sort of like backstory and seen what she's like gotten through and stuff, and she's just inspiring. I just love her. She liked my photo the other day. I nearly cried.
Oh my God. I really want to get her on for an interview.
Oh my God.
Obviously
you should.
She's stopped drinking, and she's been a victim of domestic violence in the past, and she's overcome it. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen her, like, she looks so healthy and happy and strong, apart from her leg at the moment, but like strong and just like
she looks like a different person to when she first started.
Really does.
No, she's brilliant. But yeah, do you know what? I don't.
I
don't
didn't
really
want
get.
to write them.
I don't really get any actual dick pics. I did used to.
What
But
did you change then that made them stop?
I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I don't actually know. Maybe they just lost interest in me. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I still get. Do you know what I get a lot of now? Which is
What?
actually quite funny. And me and the girls at the gym have had quite a good laugh with a few of these guys. Right? We'll get guys message us like wanting to fight us. So they'll like genuinely message us, yeah, and be like, "Oh, like I'm gonna come to your gym. Wait for me outside. I'm gonna fight you. You're shit and all this." And we had one guy message me, and he added like all of us girls, like Dakota, Ellie, Liv, Becky, Ainsgo, like all of our little group of like girls that we're sort of like connected with. He added us all into a group chat, and we were like, what is going on? Like, and it was funny to start with, and then after a while it was like, oh, you're annoying now, so we ended up like blocking him. But I get a lot of that. I get a lot of people trying to fight us.
I had a really weird request. In the end, Peter had to get involved and tell this person to like go away because I'd blocked them and they kept finding other groups that my interviews were on and commenting on those. They wanted to pay me to fight somebody in a nylon windbreaker.
Oh my god. I know there is
And at first I just went along with it and said, oh, sorry, I don't have a nylon windbreaker. And then they offered to provide it and pay me.
Oh my god. How much do they want to pay you?
I wasn't sure whether that was like kind of giving them encouragement if I started like naming my price or asking them to give me a quote.
Oh
So
my god. I tell you what
I
though,
left
there are
it
some
there.
mad people out there, and there are some mad ways of making money. Like I've had so many people ask me about my socks.
I was going to ask you about your socks next. No
Yeah.
joke. What, they want them after you've worn them?
Yeah. And I know a few like UFC females they'll do like, you know, when they do like open workouts or like their weigh-ins or whatever, their socks that they wear for those, they go for hundreds. They flog them off afterwards.
Wow. So have you sold any yet?
I haven't yet, no. I feel like I should wait until I'm in the UFC and then I can sell them for more money.
Because I feel like socks isn't a bad thing. Like, who cares if somebody's having a fun time out of your socks? Like,
if you want to pay me £500 for a pair of my sweaty socks, that's fine. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing with them. I'm you know, naive to it all. I'll just send you my socks. It's fine.
Stone Boy said he would have taken the money.
Yeah, I don't know if I would fight someone in a windbreaker, but yeah, the socks thing I'd do.
So the socks, my question wasn't if I could buy them. It was like, they're your thing, aren't they? They're part of you. I love them. And if I had calves like you, I'd always walk around in socks like that. But where do you get them from? Are you sponsored or are they all different ones? Like, I feel like you should have a sock sponsor.
Well, I haven't got a sock sponsor essentially, but Violent Money, they sponsor me. They send me the first thing they sent me was socks actually. Just they're plain like black and white ones, but people just bought like I got socks for my birthday. I get them for Christmas. Like my best mate for my birthday, she bought me like tie-dye Nike ones.
I like those ones.
Yeah, and the clothing company my mum works for, Religion, like she's bought me a few of theirs. They're quite funky and like football-y sort of socks. But yeah, do you know what? I get slated in Liverpool because like for some reason in Liverpool, white socks is not fashionable. It's got to be black. You can wear long socks, but they've got to be black. So when I first started training at Aspire, like everyone started taking the mick out of them, and then I think everyone realised like I don't care and I'm still going to wear them anyway. But yeah, they are kind of my thing. I don't even know why. I think I used to be really conscious of my feet, right? Because I've got big feet and really long toes. Yeah, so I used to be really conscious of them. So I used to always wear socks when I trained, and it's only sort of recently that I've actually had to take them off for training because it gets too slippery. But I think it started off as a bit of an insecurity and then it turned into sort of a thing. And now it's like kind of everyone knows me for it. It's a bit weird, really.
It's quite hard to get hold of one that length, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it started with Adidas. I got a bit of an Adidas obsession because they were doing like free pairs for 12 quid in like Foot Locker. So I was just buying loads of them. And then yeah, but if there's any companies out there, sock companies that want to sponsor me, I'll happily take that.
I think that would be brilliant. I think they should get in touch with you. So another thing I saw that you posted was I think it was on Fight Week actually. You said 24 weeks ago you started rehabbing quite a serious injury, and obviously you ended up fighting. Are you able to talk about that injury? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I can talk about it now. It doesn't sound that serious. It wasn't serious, but it was bad. Like it was my first session back after the first lockdown, and literally right at the end of the session, it was only from my knees, but I got sort of like thrown, like I think I had the whizzer and I got thrown like that over it, and I wasn't expecting it to go full pelt, and I just wasn't ready, and I didn't land properly. So my whole shoulder just dislocated and just dropped out. Like the whole thing was just hanging down like that. And I just remember like I didn't feel like pain. I just felt sick. And I was like, oh, what happened? Like, and then I remember like I came off the mat and then I sat down and I was just like, oh, and then I had to get my t-shirt like cut off me. I was well annoyed as well. It was my Violent Money one, my favourite one. I had to get that cut off. And then I remember the boys looking at me and going, oh my God, like it was like that. My shoulder was just like vroom, down here. And then I just didn't know what to do straight away. I was like, oh, but I genuinely think it was probably ready to go at some point. But because I had so much time off, not doing like anything like that, and then went straight back into grappling, it just went. So I literally couldn't even I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't reach to the other side of my shoulder for like 2 weeks. I was literally like, I would get there and I'm like,
did you have to get it put back in, or what happened?
I think it went out and then went back in itself, kind of thing. But for weeks it was just dropped. Like there was no, when you sort of like flex like that and you've got I've got quite prominent shoulders, especially when I cut weight, they just stick out, and because I'm quite broad. But when I did that, the other one was just it was like it deflated. Like it was weird. And then so that's when I started working with Dan Mitten, who's our like mobility movement coach, but he does all my strength and conditioning as well. So that's when I started working with him. I was like, you got to help me. I don't know what I can do. And he was like, what can you do with it? And I was like, literally nothing. I couldn't even lift my arm up. So a lot of the first couple of weeks was just me lying on the floor, sort of like brushing my arm up like a bit of a snow angel, like doing like these tiny little movements that felt like I wasn't doing anything, but they were like little progressions. And then started implementing like the strength stuff and building, like rehabbing it, building the strength back into it. Obviously I couldn't strike for a while. So it was a long time before it felt, if I'm honest, it's only been the last month where it hasn't actually given me any ag when I've trained. But it healed well. It healed really well, thanks to obviously Dan and our like little routine we had. But and it's absolutely fine now. But yeah, it wasn't good at all. And then it was sort of around when I was looking to fight on UKFC, I was thinking like, oh, shall I or shouldn't I? I thought, nah, it's fine. Like I'd started grappling again and started sparring, so it was fine. But in a way, I'm glad it happened, because obviously I met Dan Mitten through that, and we started this program, and now we have like the best system in place and I understand now as well, like all the mobility training that we do and how important it is, especially for jiu-jitsu, but like for everything. Like I was getting in like half an hour before sessions and doing all my mobility stuff for my shoulder, but then I was realizing the benefits of doing my whole body mobility before training, because like when you warm up for a training session, it's just to get your heart rate and get a bit of a sweat, and you're not actually like activating the joints or the muscles that you're about to use. And that's why there's honestly so many people were actually injuring their shoulders as well. About 5 people injured their shoulders after I did, because like everyone was coming back from doing not a lot or not similar training, and then just coming straight back cold basically, and then in and injuring themselves. And And now it's like that. I honestly feel like Dan Mitten just like opened up this new world, and like everyone, all of our like teams on the same sort of pathway, and it's amazing. Like the progression, you can see everybody's like their physique, not only their physique's changing, but like their strength, their mobility, everything. I just think it improves their game so much more.
Yeah, massive shout out to him then.
Yeah, he's a wizard.
So another thing I saw in your IG stories was somebody asking you about the IMAFs, and your reply is something that it really bothers me. Like, so somebody asked if you were going to do it again, and you said, like, unfortunately not. Like the way things stand, there's no funding for it, and obviously they're either in Europe or they're worldwide. So it could be Bahrain, wherever. And people at the moment have to pay for their own travel and their own accommodation and pay to get out there. I would so love it if the government, or like if there was some kind of scheme to fund people, because it's so expensive, isn't it? And especially if you've done it once, like it's expensive to do it again.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, the Worlds, I think in November last year, that cost me about $2,000.
Yeah.
Which obviously I was really, really lucky and grateful for the fact that I did set up a GoFundMe page, and I got a lot of help for that, which was great. The Euros are pretty much funded myself, but it's annoying because it is a really good opportunity
Yeah.
to like go, and especially for like women as well. Like,
Yeah.
my category, the bantamweight division, I think there was like 11, 12 girls in it. So there was an opportunity there to really like test yourself, and
Yeah.
the whole experience is really good. And it's day of weigh-ins, you've got to make sure you're bang on the weight. Then you've got you've got it's a different setting, it's a big arena, you've got like 3 or 4 cages on at the same time, you've got cameras in your face, like all this other stuff going on. So it is a good sort of like dress rehearsal for future, but it's just too expensive. Like I really wanted to go, and I wanted to give it a good go, so I did what I needed to do to make the money to go. I don't really want to have to do a GoFundMe page every time. You feel like a charity case, and to be honest, after like everyone's been through so much this year with everything that's gone on, the last thing you want to do is go, oh, by the way, will you sponsor me to do this, or will you pay for me to do this? Like I can't stand borrowing or like taking money from people anyway. I'm just rubbish with it. So I'd rather like work 50 hours a week in a restaurant if it means I can go and fight in another country. But to be honest, I think I'm better off just that, like $2,000 that I spent on the Worlds, I could live off for about 3 or 4 months and train full time and have a fight in the UK that's probably more recognition than the IMAF. Like the IMAFs are good, but let's face it, if you don't make it far past the first round, you might as well not have been there.
That's what I find harsh. It's going to cost you the same amount of money whether you like get knocked out in the first round or whether you go all the way to the final. And I do think it's a great opportunity, especially for girls, especially for the lower weight classes. Like if you're a strawweight guy, there's not many opportunities like in the UK to fight people. So there's so many things I love about it, but I just wish it was more accessible.
Yeah, I feel like there could be more funding in place for it. But yeah, I mean that's the only reason I wouldn't do it again. Like I actually really enjoyed it and being part of the team, and like it was such a good laugh. And obviously it's amazing going to like different countries that you might never, like I would never go to Bahrain normally. So like to go there and that it was really, really good. And I met like amazing people over there. Obviously, like that's the whole reason I'm at Aspire now. So I'm so glad I went, because I probably wouldn't have crossed paths with, or maybe I would have, because I was only in Manchester down the road, but I met all the Aspire lot there, and that's what motivated me to go there and train with them, because I saw their guys fighting and thought, oh my god, like they were a good level. So yeah, it is a very, I would recommend it. If you've got the money or you can get the funding to go, then 100% do it, because it's a brilliant experience as an amateur. But unfortunately, like I just don't see the point in doing it again, really. I did gain from it, but I would probably, if I'm honest, I'd say I've gained more from my regional fights here in the UK than over there. So
It's interesting.
yeah.
Somebody saying hi to you.
Hi.
So what's next? Obviously, nobody knows what's going to happen. We're bloody back in. I guess you're going to be going back to work, are you? If Liverpool's now in Tier 2, so I take it you'll be going back to the day job as well.
Yeah, going back to being a waitress. No, yeah, the restaurant I work at is opening next Wednesday, which is cool. It's great because obviously I was gutted for them. They're such a lovely family to work for, so I'm glad that we can get back to normal and get business back to normal for them. Obviously, yeah, it's a little bit of an income for me. I don't know when I'll next be fighting. Obviously, it could
I'd
be.
love to think that Celtic Gladiators will just keep having these shows on regardless.
I know. Well, I don't see why, if they could do it in a proper lockdown, I don't see why they can't continue to do it. So, you know, obviously it's up to them and that, but I'm game to continue. Like I'm carrying on my training. The only thing that's really changed is the calorie input. like I'm just eating more now, but my lifestyle is staying the same. I'm still training hard. I'm starting a new strength phase with Mitten well, tomorrow actually. I'm back to sparring tomorrow with the girls. So I'm just not going to take my foot off the pedal. There's no point. Like I love the place I'm in now, and I just want to keep going and keeping improving and getting better and learning. And then if a fight presents itself, then I'll take it. So yeah, like on my timetable, I'll be a little bit jigged around next week when I go back to work, but it's nothing that I'm not used to. It's been a lovely month of just training and not having to go to work. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
How do you feel about the vaccinations? Some people are saying you're going to have to be vaccinated to be on cards next year.
Yeah, right. I'm sure there's some dodgy little doctor that can give me a note somewhere. Speak to Dean if you want to know about vaccines. I don't know. Do you know what? I don't actually know a lot about it, and that's because I just live in my little bubble and I just block all that out. I don't watch the news. I didn't listen to Boris's announcements. I have not got, like, I don't care. I know this probably a lot of people think I'm arrogant for saying this, but I don't care what he says. I don't care who's ruling our country, because whoever rules it is a numbnut anyway. And it's just this whole year is just, none of it makes sense. It's all bullshit. So I just think, you know what, for the people that want to live in fear and let it affect them mentally and physically, whatever, that's fine, you do you. But us lot that are just carrying on as normal, you know, we're fine. I still do not know, to this day, I still do not know a single person who's had it.
Do you know? I must say I know quite a few now. But,
yeah. So I know, like, obviously I believe the virus is real. Like, I believe, like, I don't necessarily think the virus is made up, but I think it's all been completely blown out of proportion this year. And a lot of the way it's been dealt with has just been unnecessary. And especially Liverpool, like the way the police arrests and stuff has been going on, it's just a bit excessive. It's like, really, do you need to be that way? But I've just stayed out of it. I've just carried on doing what I'm doing, and it hasn't really affected me. So
yeah, best way to be. Yeah. So is there anyone you want to say thank you to, or any shout outs to sponsors you want to give or anything before we go?
Just obviously, like I said, my thanks on Sunday to my team and my coaches and my sponsors. So yeah, the same really. I've just got a new sponsor, BL Bullies. So if everyone could go and follow them on Instagram, that'd be great. And yeah, everyone else, obviously, I've got Feel Supreme, Figure 8, Violet Money, Mauler MMA, and then BL Bullies, yeah, and obviously my team at Aspire and that. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you for speaking to me, Lexi. You're one of the girls that I always look forward to watching fight. You always just have such incredible style and class about you, and I love it. So I wish you a lovely Christmas when that comes.
Oh, thank you. That's so weird saying that.
I know. We're still in November. I'm quite early, but I probably won't speak to you before. So have a good one. And then I can't wait to see you back in the cage next year.
Oh, I can't wait either. Thank you. Thanks for having me on it. It's been really nice talking to you.
Oh, take care.
And you. Cheers.
See ya.
See you later.